Hello, everyone. This is Sanjiv Goyal, your host. You are on IIT 2020 video series. And today I have a very special guest, Sumit Gupta. Sumit Gupta is IIT Delhi alum. He works with IBM and he is making some unbelievable changes to our world. So he is on the helm of future. He leads their AI practice and he talks about data and create opportunities with the data. Sumit, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I work on many aspects of data and AI, so I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
So Sumit, you have done tremendous work in IBM, but before we jump to your work, can you talk a little bit about your life in IIT? Which hostel you are in, and what is the highlight of when you are in undergrad?
Gosh, so I'm Neil Gray, so Neil Best, I think all of IIT was is such a memorable time for all of us. So I don't know how to pick a memory, but there's so many. We just had an amazing time when we were there, and I cherish those days, cherish those moments even today.
So do you remember any professor who had a profound effect on you, and you still remember him, and you're still in touch?
Yeah, there was some. Well, not so much in touch, but I think there were two or three who had a pretty profound impact. DNC, Dinak Chaudhary was one of them in electrical, and CP Ravi Kumar, Vish. There were a few who had a pretty big impact on me. So, I still thank them for all the guidance and help they gave me while I was there.
That's so impressive. And you did your undergrad, and then you came to US, and you even pursued. You did PhD from UCSD, right?
I did my undergrad in electrical engineering at IIT Delhi, and I worked in Bangalore for a couple of years actually first. Then I came and did a PhD from UC Irvine, and I did a postdoc from UC San Diego.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. Wow. Mr. Khosla, Pradeep Khosla is IIT alum. He's now at the helm of UCSD. It's interesting. So
yes, absolutely.
So let's talk about, you did postdoc. So why you got into enterprise? Why not teaching or research only?
Yeah, sometimes you find your calling late in life. I think I kind of got lucky after my postdoc. I went and worked for a venture capital firm.
Oh.
And I tell people, I spent a year there, and I tell people that it was almost like doing an MBA, a 1-year real life practical MBA. And I realized that my calling was really this intersection of technology and business. My deep understanding, deep background in technology has really helped me shape products and businesses which are based on deep technology. And I think I always had that knack. I just needed to get an opportunity to hone it.
That's so impressive. And then you even worked with NVIDIA, and NVIDIA just acquired ARM. So what do you think about that?
Absolutely. I mean, I've actually been in the semiconductor industry. I've been in the systems industry, and I've been in the enterprise software industry. So I've seen a lot of different industries. NVIDIA was an amazing ride. I was the general manager for their AI business and their data center business. That's become a huge business for them now. It's interesting where they're going with the recent acquisition of ARM. I mean, that's a really big acquisition.
Yeah, it's impressive actually, especially after the blockchain and especially Bitcoin started going down. NVIDIA stock last year, like 8-9 months ago, completely tanked, and now it is like just ridiculous. It's just phenomenal growth. They have amazing leadership. You and me both know, and it's not their fault that people are. The Bitcoin is changing, and I'm not a believer of Bitcoin, but that doesn't mean anything. The world believes in, and it's a great thing. IBM has an amazing blockchain initiative, and where a lot of enterprises are using blockchain for registers. But coming back to the data. And we have audience, Sumit, of all aspects of their lives. And it's an all-inclusive event. We are inviting everyone, not just IITians, just so everybody who is listening to me, please know you are welcome to sign up. If you want to be part of the future, you want to make the difference, please join us. We are here. We wanted to provide a platform for everyone to collaborate and innovate or invent our future. So,
and I'll tell you, I've been to one of the IIT Pan IIT events before. Been to several of them, and I'll say that beyond the sessions, the in between session discussions are really intellectually stimulating and high bandwidth, and you meet all the I would say very impressive leaders and thinkers in technology, beyond technology. So it's a very impressive event. It is really a who's who event.
thank you. You just made my day. I don't need to do anything. This is what we are going to post. So, and in fact, Sumit, this year we are even trying to organize some house parties. So people who wants to sponsor and bring their friends, and it's more fun when you are with friends watching it. And we may have
Absolutely.
a place in Las Vegas too, where we are trying to gather all the board members and people here, but I'll share with you details. So question I have for you, Sumit, is before we go deeper into AI, to a layman, it's very confusing. AI, machine learning, artificial intelligence, data science. It's like there are so many buzzwords, and I'm calling these buzzwords as a layman. I'm confused. And then Elon Musk is saying that these bots are going to rule us. And then other note, IBM is coming up with some amazing initiative, and you have started some very, very cool stuff. So can you explain this whole thing to a layman? What is that?
Sure. So, for the first, let's say 50 years approximately of computer history, 50, 70 years, however you want to count it, we've built computers that we programmed or we taught by essentially telling them, if this happens, then do this. Sort of this if then else style of programming, right? So you were creating rules, you were creating formulas for them that they were following. What essentially AI is, and AI is like the catch-all term, right? It's the high-level term. The technology underneath that is machine learning, and deep learning is a type of machine learning technology. But what machine learning or AI does is it learns from history. So rather than learning from being a rule-based thing, you show machine learning a pattern of behavior. For example, you show it 10,000 credit card transactions and you tell it these 100 were fraud, these 9,900 were not. And it learns by understanding the underlying pattern. You don't tell it what that pattern is. You just give it the information about what is fraudulent and what is not. And it extracts, the machine learning algorithm or model extracts that and essential value. So instead of programming the computer, you're teaching that AI model using historical data. And then when it sees new data, it'll make a prediction based on what it's seen in the past. This is actually very similar to how we work. When we say I have a gut feel of something, that's experience talking, right? I've seen this pattern before, and that is deep learning. Exactly. The gut feeling is all the way in the back of your head. You don't know what it is, but it's because you've done something so many times in your life.
Or maybe almost it's encoded in our DNAs. For example, the way we react to so many situations, fear, and where we get scared or where we do things which are very unnatural to us, but we do that. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you my favorite example in this is that if you work with programmatic methods, the things that it fails on is like when let's say I'm driving a car through the neighborhood and I see a ball bouncing across, I know there is a kid somewhere, right? I haven't seen the kid, but something caused that ball to come. Typically, who throws a ball? It's a kid, it's a neighborhood, so there's a kid.
Yeah.
How do you teach that to a computer through a rule-based system? You have to teach it through historical data. And even that, actually, what I just described to you is one of the hardest problems, even with the most advanced AI algorithms today, is showing it something it hasn't seen before, teaching it something it hasn't seen before.
No, that's really phenomenal, and we do some work in the AI space, and we are trying to train AI systems to detect products in a picture. And we
Right.
thought when we took that problem 2 years ago, it'll be like straightforward. There is a logo, there is an image, and it's 2 years, and we are still not able to perfect one category in a
Well,
grocery
you
store.
should call, you and I should talk afterwards. I think I can help you with that.
Sure, I'd love to. Love to. I mean, it's a phenomenal problem. We have a phenomenal product for the CPG industry. We have the largest, one of the largest brand. I mean, anyway, we will talk about that later. But the challenge I am seeing, Sumit, is AI is making a lot of promises, right? I want to talk about really, really fundamental things. As a user, I don't care who does that or how it works. And that's what I'm hearing from TensorFlow, from Google to everywhere, that, hey, platform is there, just put it out there and it'll give you something back, and it's perfect. Where do you really see AI is going? And let's talk about some areas. In health, where do you see the biggest opportunities for IITians or for engineers or anybody who has a futuristic thinking?
Yeah. I think the biggest mistake people are making in this space are trying to say, what new thing can I go solve with AI? That's a valid, thought process, valid way to think about it. But the question I mostly work with my clients on is, what problems do you have today and how can we improve them? So for example, you talked about healthcare. There has been multiple studies that have shown that just the pairing of doctors and nurses has an impact on patient outcome. So certain nurses and doctors work better with each other and lead to fewer patients coming back or better patient outcomes in general. So as simple as workforce scheduling, just how you build a schedule of who's going to work today, right? Using an AI based or even a simple analytics based method is actually the way to think about it. Let's not think about, oh, what new problem in healthcare can I solve? It's like, how do I get the right staff in to improve patient outcome? How do I order the right amount of equipment, not based on someone saying, yeah, this month I think I'm going to need 1,000 this or that, but by using patterns of data of years of ordering and inventory, right? Okay, in November the flu season comes in and you need more protective PPE and so on. But
Right.
if you have someone just doing that, sort of through experience or gut feel, you're likely to underorder, overorder. So supply chain, inventory management, patient outcomes, in healthcare. And then of course you get to the advanced stuff, which is where the shiny discussions in the press are, which is, how can I revolutionize imaging, radiology? Can I analyze, pick X-rays and so on, and be able to annotate them so that you can become an assistant to a doctor? So you can do all of that, but I always say, start with what you're doing today and improve that. That's the low-hanging ROI.
So find the opportunities around you and see where with even the incremental improvement, you can create a tremendous impact.
Yeah, see, you got to remember, because it's a new technology, you need to show yourself or your management or your CFO the impact of this technology, so you can get an investment to invest more, because there is an incremental investment to do AI. It's not going to come out of your existing investment.
Sure.
And so show the successes, improve the current processes, improve your cost, improve your product placement. You talked about CPG. I mean, tremendous opportunities in CPG for using, like we have a client who has improved their email targeting, their mail actually, snail mail targeting. And the advantage to them is actually they've reduced the number of mail they're sending to their customers. So there is a cost advantage to them, but there's also an annoyance advantage to their customer, who is getting a more tailored mail and fewer mails from the retailer.
Yeah. Sumit, I like it. It's great. But my big thing is especially this conference, we really want to talk about future. We really want to push the envelope. And simpler problem, you and me both know technology can solve. And a lot of time I explain to my friends and the people I know is artificial intelligence or AI is almost like electricity today. It's like 50, 60 years ago, we had electricity on all we had is the lamp basically. And now we have so many things running on this energy. So it's almost that foundational layer. Google, IBM, Microsoft, all the major companies has built that foundation for us. Just like Pacific Gas and Electric and other companies. Yes, we are sharing data with them. Yes, they are continuing to innovate and make it better and better. Now the use cases has to come from us. And some of the use cases always baffles me that why we are not able to solve those simpler use cases. Like even when we talk about responding to someone, the email systems, it's still, I believe it is pretty archaic based on the things possible today. It doesn't create, like it doesn't shows me emotions, for example. When I'm typing an email, it's a lot of time become really, really dry and it get miscommunicated. So very, very simple fundamental challenges are there. But coming back to the future is now. And image processing is definitely one area where people are really looking for what they can do. But my question is the data. We have tremendous amount of data. I personally have seen a lot of data in the healthcare space. We did some work with a very large institution in Seattle where Bill Gates Foundation has invested tremendously. They have petabytes of data on mortality from every single country. Now, they brought us in that if we can help them even creating so they can visualize the data, forget about analytics or predictive, can we visualize it in different ways so we can slice and dice it, this petabyte of data, which is itself is a pretty complex problem. The challenge I have is how do we really connect all these dots globally exist? IBM has this unbelievable thing. IMHE has this lot of data. There are 100 other places have data in isolation. How do we connect and create a trust fabric so we can really solve the problem? Because you and me both know as a technologist, it's not the technology problem today. The problem is we are not able to create that trust environment to solve these problems. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, so I think, it depends on how much you want to how big you want to go with something like what you talked about, right? We have a technology called Federated Learning. So first of all, IBM has a policy that we do not actually take your data. If you use our AI, your data stays with you. We don't in any way take your data. And I know that's different with other technology companies who have, I would say, weaker data privacy standards. Mm-hmm. So what we've done is we've actually built a technology called Federated Learning, where let's say you're working with one hospital or one medical institution, their data stays with them. It helps inform an AI model. But without taking their data, that model is able to collaborate with another model that was built using someone else's data. And both the models improve using the learning that each one of them has. So this is it's not something we invented, but it's something we've pushed the envelope on. It's called Federated Learning. But I think the challenge you're talking about, I'll go back to something you said, maybe slightly correct you perhaps, right?
Please.
I think everyone is fascinated by images and what AI can do with images.
Yeah.
The real challenge in enterprise today is actually documents. It's actually text. Yeah. We operate with more documents, emails, Slack, PDFs, all of that stuff than we do with images in an enterprise. Mm-hmm. I know you talked about CPG. CPG might have more images because of catalogs and all that, but beyond CPG, even in CPG, right, their supply chain, everything else is all documents.
Yeah, it's a lot of textual data.
That's where we have focused, at IBM, we focused a lot on document understanding. Mm-hmm. We have natural language processing, Watson NLP, which we built so it can read a document and understand various entities. this is a table, this is so and so. And we've also made it easy to customize for legal documents, for contracts, for supply chain, for other things, because that's where the opportunity today is to apply AI. Now, you talked about the people coming to the conference, right, and what opportunities they can explore. I think the interesting part is that AI has happened, but most companies don't know how to embrace it. There's a very big opportunity in what you're doing, what you've described your company does, in helping enterprises embrace AI and helping them in that journey. And it's a very, I would say, every company has 1,000 things they can do with AI, 1,000 different projects they can do. It's hiring, it's sales operations, it's supply chain, it's everything you do, marketing, right? It's how you even run your programs. So there's a lot of opportunity behind that. There's a lot of work to be done there, and someone who can help clients in that space is actually a pretty big opportunity.
Thank you very much, Sumit. So Sumit, let's talk a little bit about future. 10 years from now, and we are here, and the pandemic has completely changed the way we think and do basic things, fundamental things, even in our life. Even shopping. I mean, Amazon is like become the place to shop everything. Everybody's getting grocery delivered. A lot of phenomenal things happening through technology. What do you see from or basic things in our life will change in next 10 years? Or your
I think
prediction of the future?
Well, that's a tough one. I think the one thing COVID did, which a lot of people have stated this, is but the digitization of every company, every industry has accelerated by 5-6 years.
Yeah.
So I know everyone talks about Amazon a lot, but actually, if you look at it, the growth of e-tail sales for Target and Walmart and other retailers is higher than Amazon's during COVID, because they, for the first time, truly embraced online purchasing.
E-commerce.
And in fact, exactly, e-commerce. So in fact, that has pushed them into that market much harder. And that's happened in every industry. I mean, retail is an easy one for us to understand as consumers, but my cousin's in he's a partner at an architecture firm and so on, right? They've gone to digital design with people working from home and so on. So I think what we're seeing is that acceleration, and the advantage for us as technologists is now that the data is digitized, you can actually do analytics on it. You can do machine learning on it. You can, there's so much more you can do with the data once an organization is digitally transformed. You can help them in their e-commerce journey. You can help them in how they engage with their clients through the web, through the mobile apps, through all of that stuff. So I think that's a big opportunity. So to answer your question, what happens in 10 years? You fast forward in 10 years, the way we engage as consumers with every brand changes. Why do I have to buy, if I'm buying a expensive thing, let's say I'm buying $100 shoe, right? Why am I buying it from Amazon? Why am I not buying it directly from Nike or Adidas or Under Armour, right? They want my information. They want to connect to their consumer directly, right? So the brands are going to get very smart about this. They're going to want a direct connection to their clients, because then they can actually, understand client needs and change them and change their product strategies. That's one big aspect of how we engage as consumers. As enterprises, I think how enterprises engage with their customers is also going to be also digital first. This idea that a salesperson shows up and that's the way you sell stuff, we're going to be in this for a while, and we're all becoming accustomed to digital sales, which means even the way the product is designed, it's designed to engage a customer digitally first. Your website, your digital trial, and so on changes. So, there's going to be a fundamental change from an enterprise perspective, B2C, B2B engagement. And then, of course, technology is changing, right? We'll see the undercurrents of AI becoming more mainstream, blockchain becoming a trusted way to exchange information, financial data. Quantum computing is on the horizon, which is the 100x compute transforming thing. So there's so much more that's coming.
That's pretty amazing. And, since you brought the topic of e-commerce and Amazon, that's one of my favorite. And one day I'm thinking of writing a paper on that. So one day.
Don't wait, write it now.
Yeah, I promise IIT team. So next, until December 4th, I'm really fully committed to IIT, and I want to make sure that this event really deliver value to our 450,000 alums in 100 plus countries. That's my dream. And so I'm not going to stop. And, I'm from Shivalik, so we have to do something, right?
Yeah.
So the theories I'll share with you, and I'd love to get your viewpoint. What is next? What is after Amazon? I'm in this world for 10 plus years, and I can definitely use some ideas and suggestions from you on from the philosophy perspective. Direct to consumer is not a new thing. Brands are trying for years and years and years, and they settled with Walmart, Procter and Gamble, to all major brands. 60 to 70% of their sales, maybe more in some cases, is through Walmart, even today. Every single brand wants to do it. But why I talk about brands? Sumit Gupta is a brand. Sanjiv Goyal is a brand. Every single person who's listening to this video is a brand. We all can create something, whether it's a digital or physical. I can create this cup, I can create this pen, I can create this AI algorithm, I can create this small software. Apple Store has proved that model has legs. Microtransaction has tremendous opportunities globally. You just need a platform. Now the challenge is whether it is Apple, and nothing against Apple or Amazon, but I truly see the world has to change, and we all have to create, maybe IBM can take a lead in that. We need to create an infrastructure which is pretty much like a peer-to-peer infrastructure, and we provide these foundational services, which is the trust, which is the delivery, which is can be storage. Like there are 100 other services which Amazon provide, not just the e-commerce piece. You and me both know they are not just another shopping cart. They do much more, and that's the reason merchants are very happy sharing their profit and value with them. And that's a big reason Amazon is so big. Of course, AWS is separate. So the future I see 10 years from now, when I was asking this question, is there will be I'm calling it a fabric, e-commerce fabric. Anybody can drop in, whether it's a Nike or Sanjiv Goyal or Sumit. We can bring any product we want, and then we have the ecosystem available to ensure that promise, because Amazon is delivering that promise to me that if I don't like the product, I can send the product back. What I'm buying, I'm getting the best value for the product. I have all the authentic recommendations or the feedback from the people. So creating that and using things like what IBM has pioneered, especially in leveraging blockchain the right way. And why I'm saying the right way is the blockchain has an amazing role to play in our future. We still have a lot of challenges, and we have to fix it because power is a huge issue. We're still not able to solve the problem at a global scale. And that is my dream. And someday I should sit down and write a paper. I have a lot of ideas around it. But the big thing is, when I see the future is where it is federated, which is what you are talking about. And what do you call it? Federated learning?
Yeah, federated learning, yeah.
So there should be federated e-commerce. Why not?
Right.
And why not? Because then we create this, and why I'm bringing that up is because now it is becoming more and more relevant, especially is because people are going to be more independent. They are not going to be associated with one company or one brand. Even organization like IBM are using consultants forever. I mean, I was an IBM, but I was not an IBMer because I was a consultant. And it was good old Y2K days, and I had an amazing run when I was there. We were doing this amazing Y2K project with OmniCare. Phenomenal experience. I've learned so much with IBM. I can't even tell you in just, I think 9 or 10 months I worked there. So the point I'm trying to make it is we are experimenting these models of development globally. We are experimenting this for a long time. How do we change that? And what can we do today? and where do you see opportunities today for our audience? If we take federated learning as a foundational layer for that.
Yeah, so I think I mean I hadn't I'm not in retail like you are, so you think about this problem more than I do. I think your idea has a very good merit because you're essentially saying I'm going to take the third-party ecosystem like eBay has and expand it, but then every brand can have a store, right? And it's like Walmart, right? When you walk into Walmart, there are aisles that are owned by Coca-Cola, by PG&E, P&G, and so on, right? And the same idea that you can have a storefront. There's a common platform that owns that storefront, or owns the platform, and you have a storefront on it, right?
No, I
I
don't
think
want
it's a
that, Sumit. Nobody owns it. It has to be like, that's where it has to be like blockchain. Nobody owns it. This is what the word I'm talking about. This platform is not owned by anyone. Sorry.
Right. Okay. Yeah, it's a great idea. It's a great idea. I haven't thought of that, and I think the technologies are all there to actually do this now. We're all at that point where the technologies exist. It's a matter of someone actually building this and enabling the ecosystem, because this is going to be an ecosystem play, right?
It is an ecosystem.
And getting all the big, in particular, you need to get the big retailers on it, because they're going to be in a mall, it's the anchor store. So you need those anchor stores on your platform to drive the platform.
True. Honestly, that I agree with you, Sumit, but let's take that as an example, and let's take even the customer feedback, which is a big deal nowadays, and we are taking all our decisions based on these customer feedback. How can AI help me get the right information? Because customer feedbacks are completely skewed nowadays. That how it works. It's completely, the system has to be more federated, because we have over reliance on organization like Yelp, and they're doing a decent job, but I don't believe I get the true picture of the place. And I tried some of the restaurants myself, and I have pretty poor experience. So as a customer, I'm looking for ways where organization like IBM can help me understand and create better value for my experience too.
Yeah, so I think this is one of those things where online reviews are skewed towards the people who tend to leave the reviews, not towards the opinions of the people who have similar opinions as you. So that customization of that social circle, how do you find people who have similar things? I think that's actually a great place for machine learning to kick in, right? Is I liked this restaurant. Tell me other people who like this restaurant, what other restaurant did they like as well? That's a very easily solvable problem using machine learning.
So we are almost to the end of our segment, Sumit. Any final words for our audience, or anything else you would like to add?
I think this is the kind of interesting discussion that these events nurture, right? When you have a gathering of people from very diverse backgrounds, or diverse jobs, but with deep, I would say, deep minds, thoughtful minds, you come up with this kind of ideation that can lead to your next startup, or maybe help you in your job, the job that you do today. So I think this is the whole point of the IIT conferences.
Thank you. So Sumit, on the behalf of IIT 2020 and Pan IIT USA team, I want to thank you. And thank you everyone who is listening to this video, and you are going to get more information, and hopefully we'll bring back Sumit again, and we'll talk a little bit more about what else he wants to share with us about the future. And hopefully he will have the answer that what will be the future in 10 years from now. That's a homework for you, Sumit.
All right. Thank you. Nice talking to you.
Thank you.